In this video, I'm going to show you how to level up your life with a different but simple approach for organizing adulting. Let's get into organizing your Brainy blueprint. I have done a lot of research for this video. I went through all of my journals. I have a bunch of printables that I've done, of workshops that I've completed. I went through all of those. I went through seasonal adjustments. I'm a little bit of a health nerd if you haven't gotten that already, but I've gone through all of my books for this video. I don't know why I never thought of doing this. I really don't. This is so stupid simple, and we're gonna learn about what does a business owner and a chronically ill person have in common and what can we learn from them. Isn't this just a fun and quirky video? I promise you, you're gonna learn a lot from it. So what are the pillars of life, you may ask? Well, we have environmental, we have emotional, we have physical, we have spiritual, we have nutrition and medicine, I'm grouping them together, intellectual, financial, and occupational. These are the pillars that I am deciding to go with. Within each of these pillars, obviously, in environmental, you can have seasonal allergies, infections, illness, which can also move on into physical. So physical, we can be ill and have toxins. We can have issues with posture. We can have issues with our sleep, which can obviously affect our mental state, of course. And then you can have, you have menstruation, reproduction, bowel movements, urination, weight. You have, emotional, time, stress, timekeeping, limbic loops, and worries, hormones, that kind of stuff. Of course, trauma. Spiritual, we have values, prayer, and then nutrition, medicine, vitamins, planning, deficiencies, detoxification. Intellectual would be cognition, reading, learning, that kind of stuff, writing. We have finance, occupational, and yada yada. So each of these pillars has things intertwined, and then of course they all connect. We are building a blueprint binder. So hear me out before you hate on me, because I know this seems a little old school, but I promise you, if you're somebody that has a million ideas and you can't commit to doing a journal, you struggle with planners, and you really struggle to organize all of these brainy ideas that you have, I promise you that this might be your answer. I'm doing this with you guys. We're doing this together. So I haven't built these yet, but I do have some references and I do have some other things that I've created. And we're not going to put everything into these binders. I have already done some exploration. I know what works best for me, so I know kind of how to go about this. And I've done a lot of research and learning and reflection on preparing for this. So you might have some preparing to do yourself. This is gonna take some time. I'm not gonna have this all done by the end of this video probably. Like, I'm still gonna be adding to this for years. Until I have children, I'm gonna add to these binders. This is just a really good way to get all of it out. And as you get into adulthood, as you start, thinking about marriage, start thinking about career changes, buying a house and all that stuff, it gets really overwhelming, and you're so focused on working towards those big goals that you might neglect those small goals, and we can forget about lost hobbies and lost projects, and we find them and we want to finish them still, but we just are so focused on those big goals that we never get to it. So this is just a method to hopefully prevent that from happening as much and to just have it all in one spot. I buy millions of journals and I just have tons of notebooks filled to the brim with notes, and I needed a method. I needed a way to kind of take those ideas from my books, from my journals, from my planners, from my to-do list. I needed a way to kind of put it all into one area. I'm somebody that likes to write. I'm somebody that really likes to have a physical object, material to hold on to and look at. If you are not somebody that needs that, if you're totally okay with digital stuff, I do want to mention Notion. Notion is a really, really helpful app, and I do still utilize Notion. As I said, I've gone through my own exploration. I've figured out what works for me. So what do I use Notion for? I've showed a little bit of it in my food video, but I use Notion for some grocery planning, some pantry restocking. I do it mostly, I use it for a mess of ideas. So when I have just a random idea that pops up in my head, I will just go into my Notion and I'll put it in my Brainy Ideas tab. And I also utilize it to organize my content and my projects. So I have a content planner in there. I go through my calendar and I can put in what kind of content I'm planning. Is it just an idea? Is it a work in progress? Am I editing it? I can also put where I want to post it onto, so I can specify what platform, if it's going to be on YouTube, and I also can specify what form of video is it. Is it an email? Is it a text? Is it a short video? Is it a article? Like, you can go through and organize, and I love how flexible Notion is. It's definitely a learning process, and there's templates for you to follow that make it a lot easier, but you can really get into it and customize it and play with the coding and all kinds of stuff. So it can be really fun if you are technologically advanced, but I'm not somebody technologically advanced. So I definitely utilize the free templates, and they have so many to choose from. I really wish that I knew about Notion when I was in school, because I would have 100% used it then. You can download it for free, and you can utilize my link in the description. I just am old school. Don't hate on a girl. I love to write, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to write and be creative in my binders. Okay, let's get into building our blueprint binder finally. I do have my business binder already made, so I do utilize this method. This was a lifesaver for me. I was introduced into this idea from two populations, and now this is where that question comes in. What does a chronically ill girly and a business owner girly have in common? Binders. Because a person with a business, any business you work at, it's very common that you will find a business binder and an emergency binder, and binders on how to deal with things. And especially in hospitals, nurses will often have a nursing binder for different interactions and keeping track of pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. So it's very common binders are used in all businesses. And then what does a chronically ill girly often have in her cupboard or on her desk? She has a binder to bring to the doctor's office of all of her symptoms, of her allergies, of her medications, and she has it just all laid out. She has like the timeline of her symptoms, and I've seen so many, like, this is becoming more popular obviously because chronic illness is becoming more of a thing. Both have binders, and they can be so helpful. I don't know why I never thought of this, because in school you're forced to have a binder, but like you literally can't do anything. You're not able to be creative with that binder. You're just taught how to utilize it, which, yeah, thank you. Thank you for making me write in a planner every day, but now I don't use a planner that great. Like, I just know how to. I know what I'm supposed to use it for, but it doesn't help my ADHD brain it doesn't help me to remember to use it. For everyone, it's gonna look different. So if you are somebody that owns a business, maybe you already have a binder. Maybe thinking about how else could you utilize that. It's something for you to look back on and to be reminded of, just like journals. So journals are something for you to have some self-reflection, a way to express yourself. It's a way to express emotions, to work through traumas, but then it's also a way to look back and to see how far you've come, to see what you've worked through, how you worked through it before, and it can be a reference for you when you do go through times like that again. I committed to doing a journal for a few years. There was a time in my life where journaling really worked for me, but then I got busy, and in college I really fell off from journaling, and I didn't gravitate towards it, and I wasn't gonna force myself to journal because then that takes the enjoyment out of it. Let's go through how do I use a binder. So I'm gonna show you guys my business binder first, and then I'm going to walk you through my reflections for my journals and what I've learned, and I did a little bit of a thematic analysis kind of through my Pinterest boards and all of my ideas in that. I went through my notes and my photos and just all of these like inspiration spots that I have, all of these ideas just sitting and wasting away, and I'm putting them in this binder. That's what we're doing. And so I encourage you guys, look through your Pinterest boards, look through your old notebooks, look through your old journals, and just do a little thematic analysis. Just look for main themes. What have you often reflected on? What have you often drew about? What's a common theme in your drawings? What's a common writing prompt that you did, or something like that? Everybody screenshots an idea on their phone once in a while. Like, you see a good recipe, you screenshot it, and you see a good tip for self-care and you screenshot it, and then we don't ever look at it. What do you need to build a blueprint binder? It's pretty cheap. The only thing is a printer is really helpful and handy. I know it's not of access to everyone to have a printer. There is possibilities. If you're somebody in college, you should have access to a printer. If there is a library around you, you will be able to use those printers. I believe you could look into like a print on demand service if you're somebody that utilizes or would benefit from utilizing a printer often, like daily. You can look into a public printing service near you. If I didn't have access to a printer daily, I would just dedicate one day out of my week to go to like the library or something, and I would just, pay a couple cents and print off whatever I need to print off. It's not ideal, but it's possible. So you need sleeves for protecting your sheets, and it just makes it a lot easier. If you want to punch holes into your paper, you can, but it's just a lot easier to protect it with sleeves. You obviously need a binder. You can get binders from Walmart for literally like $6. I'll put a couple cute ones below. So then you'll also need some dividers. I also bought these from Walmart for, I don't even know, like $2-3 or something. How do we use and create a blueprint binder? So I went ahead and I went through all of my journals that I've created for myself, and I printed and I created a list of like everything that I've put in them. Breathing techniques, affirmations, brain dumps, habit trackers, road trip planning. Like, I wrote down everything that I put in my journal, and then what I did is I did a thematic analysis, as I was talking about, and I found 9 common themes. So I found cyclic managing, coping and grounding skills, processing and computing, nutrition and meal guides, medicine and supplements, vitamin cheat sheet, habits and gratitude, journaling, and helpful resources. I've learned that I don't grab my journals if they're not right there for me, and being that I'm the one that wrote it, I don't look at it. Like, a journal, I just don't see a journal as something that I look back at. Someday, say, I don't know what my future looks like. There's a day I'm traveling and I'm not at home, and like the kid gets sick or my kid gets sick or something, and I have this binder for Dad to reference. He can look in there and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right, we give them this for this, blah blah blah, whatever. Like, it's just something for you guys to, it's preventative, it's something for meeting you where you're at, and it's just something like a reference. It's like a journal. It's a replacement journal. You're gonna be working on this binder today. I'm just still picking apart my nutrition stuff. Everybody deals with something with food. Everybody goes through some kind of time in their life where they have some kind of negative reaction with food, and then everybody also deals with a time in their life where they just feel really messy and disorganized and overwhelmed. So I'm hoping that I can provide some help with that. And I added all of my tabs into this book. There we go. So this one's gonna be my nutrition folder, and I'm gonna have all of my, here, let's actually put those in there, shall we? Storage sheet. And then I also printed out a seasonal look at the produce. So I have 2 of these, fruit and vegetable season guide, and then I have for Minnesota, since I'm from Minnesota, providing plate to follow. This is not only based on science, but it's also based on spirituality. I went through the Bible and I found all of the food in the Bible, but it would just be fun and motivating for me personally. I'm still working on my restock reference, which I shared that printable with you guys as well. I'm going to take you guys into the process of designing these references, designing references and researching references. Depending who you are, you could definitely draw your own and you could write it out yourself, but if you're somebody like me that likes it to be super organized, and it's just the reason that I didn't like journaling is because I get super stressed and I'm a perfectionist. Now, yes, I need to work on that, and I'm definitely working on it in different ways, but journaling is supposed to be a way for me to work on it. So if journaling itself is stressing me out and causing me to be overwhelmed, why would I do that? So this is one of those things. You have to figure out what works for you and what is obviously your biggest stressor. That's where reflecting is an important part. Obviously, I'm a perfectionist. I like that my notes look good, and if they don't look good, I'm not gonna look at them. I use Microsoft probably more so because I'm more familiar with it. Canva I like for the design aspects of it, and I like the elements that it has, like for it has stickers and like it has different graphics for you to choose from, but it has some limitations if you're not subscribed. This is how I designed all of these documents for the Printable for last week. So the binder's organized by pillars, and they're organized by my pillars. They're not just the health pillars. I'm considering the health pillars, and I will always remember those, but they're organized more so by my need. You can play around. There's a lot of cool stuff you can get at Walmart, like these card protectors where you can protect your playing cards and binders. Well, I hope that was a wonderful and thorough video. Remember that intention that you set earlier. Let me know if I was able to meet it, or give me some suggestions on improvement in the comments below. Just be sure to be respectful, and as I said before, I highly encourage you to check those out because I really do a lot of research to figure out what good resources there are out there. I'm constantly looking and sourcing for cutting corners. We love to cut corners around here. We love finding useful resources and just ways to make life a little bit easier, or to improve our lives and to work on evolving ourselves into a better version of ourselves, but not changing ourselves, because we can love our body and we can love the journey that our body is going to go through. And if you're interested in nutrition help, we've been covering the gut and brain axis, and I've been giving some really great recipes and tips and tricks on that, so be sure to check that video out as well. And without further ado, do not forget that you are loved, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.